I've got one NFL, one college football, and one MLB best bet for you in today's video, so you don't want to miss it. This is the free three. Let's get into it. What's up, guys? It's your boy Noble Living back with another DYF Bets video where I'm breaking down my favorite picks and plays of the day as we just try to get to the bag and make some money together. Last night we had another winning day on the channel. We're starting to string together some winning days. Love to see it. Cashing on the Mets first five money line plus money value there. No sweat bet. Also cashing on Kevin Gosman over 7.5 strikeouts as he got that one done pretty early for us. So love to see that. We did lose in our two-team steam as the Padres did get it done, but the Cubs let us down. Oh man, Justin Steele, man, I thought you were going to step up to the plate, but you let us down there on that parlay. So 2-1 on the day, not too bad. You can see our year-to-date record right here. We're still crushing it, still over 500 in the month of September. And like I said, we've got college football and NFL today, two sports that I've been killing it in. So you definitely don't want to miss that. And if you could drop a big thumbs up on the video for me, I'd greatly appreciate it. So let's dive into these best bets so we can make some money together. So for my first best bet of the day, I headed over to the gridiron. I'm going to take a look at that Giants and 49ers matchup tonight. And really my analysis is real simple. What are the Giants going to do without Saquon Barkley? What is their run game going to look like without Saquon Barkley? I mean, we've got seventh-year running back Matt Breida, who's going to be called upon to step up to the plate and have to fill in while Barkley's out, while he's injured. But I mean, I think he can be effective. But the question really becomes like, how much? Right? And obviously we have a limited sample size to kind of get the year started with only 2 games, but it's probably also due to the fact that the 49ers have been jumping out on every team early and just really been crushing them. But the 49ers are third in rush yards per game to start the season, only giving up an average about 65 rushing yards per game. So because of that, I think we have to go with Daniel Jones over 31.5 pass attempts minus 125 on DraftKings as the first best bet of the day. Now I could also play this line up to 32.5. I'm not opposed to that, but I would try to shop around as there are a few books out there with 31.5 still on the books right now. And when I really look at this matchup, right, like I mentioned, there's no Saquon Barkley. We've got a backup running back. The 49ers run defense has been stout from what we've seen, but also at the same time, because their offense is so potent and they've been jumping out to early leads, it's really forced teams to have to throw the ball, right? So far this year, even though it is a limited sample size, the 49ers are in the bottom last team in the NFL in terms of passing attempts per game on them. They're averaging over 50 pass attempts in just 2 games. Kenny Pickett in game 1 threw for 46 times for the Steelers. Matthew Stafford last week, I mean, he's always throwing the ball, but he threw for 55 times last week against them. So this really tells me, okay, now we've got a spread at 10.5, 10, maybe 11 on certain books. So the books obviously expect the 49ers to really win this game pretty comfortably. We've seen the 49ers jump out to leads early. The Giants can't run the ball. So what does that mean? That means they're going to have to throw it, right? So why we got these pass attempts at 31.5, 32.5, whatever your book's at? I feel like it's free money today. I feel like we got to take it because of what we've seen in all the other games so far this year. 49ers getting out to a quick lead, and the other team has to respond by really trying to move the ball quickly and throwing the ball. Now, this is not out of the norm for the Giants to have to throw the ball. We saw this last week against the Cardinals when they got down that matchup like 20-0, right? They're getting blown out. They did come back. Shout out to the Giants, figure out a way to win. In that matchup, when Daniel Jones had to rally his team, he had to throw it 37 times in that game. So he did have to go over this total, and we've seen them have to do that. So the question that we really face is that Daniel Jones is really going to be able to string together long enough drives to not only keep the Giants competitive, but to stay on the field long enough to cover this. That's really my biggest concern. We saw earlier this week when we took Miles Sanders, right, rushing attempts, and we lost on the hook. Why did we lose that game on the hook? Not really because he wasn't getting the touches. It was because he wasn't on the field long enough. Bryce Young wasn't stringing together long enough possessions to now where we were getting multiple attempts per drive. That's what we need in a game like this. So that's the biggest point of concern, but I really think the Giants offense can figure some things out, especially after rallying last week. And, you know, losing Saquon is big, but I feel like this team understands, like, hey, he might be out of here for a few weeks, so we got to figure it out. And there's no better team to really try to test out this pass offense and get this pass offense going against the 49ers. They're a little bit weaker on the back end in terms of the secondary. You know, their front line with Nick Bosa is kind of like their main bread and butter, and their linebackers there. So because of that, I really think this is a good matchup for Daniel Jones to have to sling it, air it out a little bit. And I dove into the research a little bit more, and I looked up games in Daniel Jones' career where he didn't have Saquon and the Giants lost by more than 10. And here are his pass attempts. Really, in just the last 2 matchups, they lost to the Rams in October of 2021, 37-11. He had 51 pass attempts. In December of 2020, they faced the Ravens and they lost that game 27-13. He had 41 pass attempts. So it's not the deepest sample size, but I think it's a good opportunity for the pass attempts and for the pass offense to really get things going, to get these reps in. Like I said, all the trends trends that we've been seeing so far this year is that the 49ers are jumping out to games early. We got a big spread in this one, so the books obviously expect them to cover. I think they cover, but you know what? Even if it's a closer game, I think it's because of Daniel Jones really making some things happen on that field today. So give me his pass attempts over 31.5 or 32.5, whatever your book has it at. But you might also want to take a little sprinkle at his rush attempts over 7.5 as well. It is plus money on most books right now, and so far in 2 games this year, he's had 13 rush attempts and 9 rush attempts. So he's gotten over this in both games. No Saquon today. That offensive line is very weak. They're probably not going to give him a ton of time, so that means he's going to have to run for his life pretty often. And if that's the case, that means there's going to be a lot of scramble opportunities. So you might want to take a look at that. Give me Daniel Jones today. Pass attempts as my first best bet of the day. Now, for my second best bet of the day, let's head over to the baseball diamond here. And I like a team total in this matchup. And I'm going Phillies over 4.5 runs, minus 135 odds on DraftKings. That's my second best bet. Now, we've got David Peterson on the mound for the Mets, and we've got Ranger Suarez on the mound for the Phillies. And this is really a big fade on David Peterson, a guy that I've been fading all year. Now, I took the Mets yesterday. They cashed in for us, and now I'm fading them. I know, right? I guess I'm a little bipolar like that. But he has a 5.22 ERA on the year, which is David Peterson. And he's even worse on the road with an ERA over 7. Phillies have gone over this total of 4.5 runs in 8 of their last 10 games. Their offense has been absolutely on fire of late. They're averaging the 6th most runs per game over the past month, averaging close to 6. And the Phillies are 2nd in isolated power against left-handed pitchers over the last month and 5th in team OPS. So that lets you know they're crushing left-handed pitchers, they're getting runs across the plate, and they're coming off a big series win against the Braves as well, where they took 2 of 3 on the road. So I think they can really carry that momentum into this home series, where the Phillies score the 8th most runs at home out of any team in the majors, averaging over 5 runs per game, and they also have a 43-31 record at home as well. So that kind of tells you, you know what, this is a team that gets it done at home, they score a lot of runs at home, and they're facing a pitcher who has not been in the best of form, and they've been crushing left-handed pitchers. I love all those facts. And keep in mind, they're also leading the NL wildcard race right now, so every game is valuable right now because, I mean, they're not going to catch the Braves for the divisional title, so they have to hold it down to win this wildcard race. So, you know, because of all those factors, I think the Phillies grab the win today, but I'm going to go with their team total over 4.5 runs as my second best bet of the day. Now, my third and final best bet of the day, you know where I'm going to the gridiron again, and we're going college football. So we got NFL down, we got a best bet there. MLB down, we got a best bet there. Now let's go to college football, where we've got another winner that's on the way. And let me ask you a question. Is it just me, or do you feel like Grayson McCall has been at like Coastal Carolina for like forever? I feel like this guy's been like for 5-6 years. Well, that's because he has. This guy has a chance to win his 4th straight Sun Belt Player of the Year award. That's crazy. And this will be the 4th time that he takes on Georgia State in his career. And in the previous 3 games, the offense for Coastal Carolina scored 51 points, 40 points, and 41 points. The last 2 games combined between these 2 teams in 2022 and 2021, 65 points combined and 82 points combined. So both those offenses really know how to score on each other. So because of that, I want to take the over 62 points, minus 110 odds on DraftKings as my third and final best bet in the Georgia State Coastal Carolina game. Like I mentioned, Grayson McCall is very familiar with this defense, 4-time facing them and this coaching staff. They know how to play this team. And really, when you take a look at it, this offense is starting to pick it up right at the right time. They started off the year a little slow against UCLA. They were a little overmatched in that one, but they still managed to score 13 points in that matchup. But then they put up 30 points in their next start against Jacksonville State, 66 points last week, in a game where McCall only played 36 snaps. So think about that, 66 points in 36 snaps. I mean, yeah, they played an FCS school, but still, it's a great tune-up matchup as you're trying to get your offense acclimated now that you're heading into conference play. Now, on the other side, the Georgia State offense is no slouch either. They're led by dual-threat quarterback Darren Granger. You know, he's had his fair share of fireworks for this team as well, as they like to score a lot of points and they like to play fast. The Panthers are 35th in college football, or in the top 3rd in the FBS in explosive plays per game, so they know how to take the lid off a defense, whether it's through the air or with their run game. And Coastal Carolina's secondary is not the best, as they rank 111th in preventing big plays. So they tend to give up a lot of big plays, which is a big point of concern, which I think fits right into the Georgia State offense. And then the Georgia State offense also does a really good job of establishing their run game. They're led by their lead running back, Marcus Carroll, and so far this year, he's 4 4th in the FBS in rushing yards with 358, and he's also compiled a lot of yards after contact as well, over 200 yards after contact, which means that, first person's getting to him, maybe in the backfield or getting their hands on him, he's not going down. He runs hard, he runs through the tackles. You love to see that. In 3 games this year, this Georgia State offense has scored 42 points, 35 points, and 41 points. And truthfully, this defense, they had to reset after losing a lot of seniors and transfers this past year. So I think this is just a game that is set up for high-flying fireworks. I think there's going to be a lot of scoring in this matchup. The familiarity between both of these programs is there. And because of that, I think both teams go crazy on the blue turf on the Thursday night high-flying action. So let's go with the over 62 points in the Georgia State Coastal Carolina game as the third and final best bet. You know what? We did baseball, we did NFL, and we did college football. Let me give y'all one more best bet. I'm feeling good. Let me give you a bonus pick. I'm going with the NRFI. I'm going with the Yankees and Blue Jays NRFI, minus 125 odds. Real simple analysis. Jose Barrios versus Garrett Cole in this one. 2 guys have been absolutely stellar on the NRFIs this year. Jose Barrios has hit his last 6 NRFIs in a row, 25-5 on the year. While Garrett Cole, 24-7 on NRFIs in the year. And you guys know that he's right there in the AL Cy Young Award race. So he's going to put out a great performance. I think he's going to come out off the jump on fire. So because of that, I like the NRFI in this matchup. Yankees and the Blue Jays are both over 70% NRFI success rates. So because of that, let's go with 2 offenses to start off a little bit slow. We saw that game yesterday was like 1-0 into like the 8th inning. I think this is a divisional matchup with both teams with something to play for to really start off slow. Pitching duel in this one. So that's your bonus pick of the day. NRFI in the Yankees Blue Jays. 4 picks. 4 winners that's coming your way, guys. We're going to sweep the board. As always, I can't wait to see the picks and plays that you take. So if you want some of my other picks, make sure you click the link in the bio to join our Telegram group. Can't wait to see you make some cheddar. We'll be back tomorrow for some more college football and baseball action. Dictate your fate, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Later, y'all.